Today we're going to take a look at how to turn an M42 lens into a tilt-shift lens. Hey everyone, Sean here with Fotodiox.com, and today we're going to take this Mamiya Secor 55mm f1.4 M42 thread lens, and we're going to turn it into a fully functional tilt-shift lens. And the way we're going to do this is through one of our TLT ROKR tilt-shift adapters. This is a lens adapter that turns any adapted lens into a tilt-shift lens. Today we're going to be adapting this M42 lens to a Canon RF mirrorless camera with our TLT ROKR adapter, and we're going to be doing that with a special 2-adapter bundle we offer. This bundle includes 2 adapters. First, our M42 to Canon EF adapter, and second, our Canon EF to Canon RF TLT ROKR adapter. So this is a 2-adapter kit, but it's pretty easy to use. You're going to start by taking your M42 thread lens, and you're going to press it into the M42 to EF adapter, and then you're just going to rotate the adapter till it's tight on the back of the M42 lens. Now this lens has a Canon EF mount, which means we can now adapt it to our EF to RF TLT ROKR tilt shift adapter. Just line up the red dot on the adapter with the red dot on the other adapter, press them together, and rotate it to lock it into place. There we go. Now we have adapted this M42 thread lens to an EF mount, and then we've adapted that to our EF to RF TLT ROKR. Again, you don't have to buy these adapters separate. We actually offer them as a bundle. And now that we have the double adapting finished, we can now mount this tilt shift adapter onto our Canon EOS R, line up the red mounting dot on the adapter with the red mounting dot on the camera, press it into the camera, and rotate it to lock it into place. And just like that, we have turned our M42 lens into a tilt shift lens for our Canon EOS R mirrorless camera. Now, how is this adapter different than, say, our M42 to EOS R adapter? Why can't you just use this adapter with this lens and camera? Why do you have to buy this double adapter kit? Well, like I said at the beginning of the video, this adapter isn't just a standard adapter, it's actually a tilt shift adapter. It adds tilt and shift functionality to any adapted M42 lens. To shift the lens, we press this silver button on the top, and we can shift it 10 millimeters to the left or 10 millimeters to the right. And we can also shift the lens up and down. We just press this golden button on the side of the adapter, and this rotates the shift 360 degrees. So if we rotate it like there, we can now shift down and we can shift up. And shifting is a great tool for perspective distortion correction. Let's say you're adapting a fairly wide M42 lens, let's say a 28 millimeter, and you're pointing it up at a tall building. Well, you're going to have the leading lines of the building actually going together. By simply taking our TLT ROKR adapter and shifting up, you can actually take those leading lines and straighten them out, making for a more pleasing architecture shot. Shifting is also great for slightly adjusting the perspective of your shot. Let's say you're limited to where you can stand with your camera. By shifting the lens over a little bit, you're actually slightly changing the perspective, which can be helpful in certain situations. Again, especially if you are photographing architecture with a wider lens. So that's how we can shift our adapted M42 lens with this adapter combo. But what about tilt? Well, the way we tilt is we actually loosen this gold knob right here. So you can see the weight of the lens is actually pulling it down. We can tilt up to 10 degrees of tilt, and you can actually see the degree markers right here. So you can actually decide how much tilt you want. So you can tilt down, but again, you can use this gold button on the side of the adapter to rotate the tilt wherever you want it in your frame. Just press it. And just like that, we can now tilt to the side, or we can tilt the lens up. We can even tilt the lens to the other side. We can even do horizontal tilts. So you can pretty much put the tilt wherever you want it in the frame. And tilting is really nice for minute focus adjustment. So let's say you are focused on 2 subjects and you have a fairly shallow depth of field. By tilting very slightly, you're taking the focal plane of your lens, which is flat, and you're actually tilting it. So you're actually throwing the focus points to different points in different planes. So with very minute adjustment, you can actually fine tune what you are focused on in your shot. Now, this is great for product photography. This is exceptional if you are a still life shooter and you want that fine-tuned focusing adjustment. But it's also great if you are looking for a more extreme look. If you want to tilt the lens all the way, you're taking that flat focal plane and you're doing an extreme tilt on it, and you're actually creating a very small sliver of focus in your scene. You're throwing everything on the left out of focus, everything on the right out of focus, top and bottom. You can actually create a very, very small amount of focus. This is great for miniature effects if you are shooting a time lapse of a city, but this is also just great for art photography. Here are some flower photos I used this tilt effect on. In the first shot, the flowers are in a normal plane of focus. I'm shooting at f2.8, so it is still a shallow focus, but as you can see, some of the flowers in the front are in focus and some in the back aren't. But then by tilting down, I'm actually focusing on some of the flowers in the front, but also some of the flowers and grass in the back of the frame. But then in this third shot, I'm actually tilting the lens to the left with the tilt rocker adapter. And now you can see there's a sliver of focus on the right of the frame. The flowers on the right are in focus, while the flowers on the left are completely out of focus. Now, this isn't a very realistic look. It's more of a dreamlike artistic look, but there are photographers who like to have this extreme focal adjustment who use tilt shift lenses for this specific look. And by using our tilt rocker adapter, you can give this look to any lens you want to adapt. Now in this video, we're talking specifically about adapting an M42 vintage lens to a mirrorless camera, in this case, the Canon EOS R, but we make this combo for a lot of other mirrorless mounts as well to turn your M42 lens into a tilt shift lens. But what if you wanted to use this between a mirrorless lens and a mirrorless camera? Well, unfortunately, we are unable to do this, and this is because of focal flange distance. This M42 lens was made for a film SLR camera. That is a camera that had film in the back, and then it had a mirror in the middle that would go up and down for the viewfinder. And because of the mirror, this much space was actually required for the lens to mount. The lens had to mount this far away from the film plane of the camera. And because it required this extra space, when we are putting it on a mirrorless camera, we actually have the space to put an adapter. But if you took a Canon EOS R lens and you put a tilt rocker adapter between the lens and this camera, the lens would no longer be able to focus to infinity. It would become a macro focus only lens. So that's why at this time we are unable to make tilt shift adapters for mirrorless lenses. At this time, we can only offer tilt rocker adapters for lenses that were made for SLRs, DSLRs, or medium format cameras. It's just due to the limitations of focal flange distance, the limitations of optics, and what you can do with them. But if you have any more questions about this limitation, comment below. I'd love to help explain it to you a little bit more. Okay, that was a quick look at how you can use a tilt rocker tilt shift adapter to turn an M42 lens into a tilt shift lens for your mirrorless camera. If you want to learn more about the M42 tilt rocker kits we offer for various mirrorless camera mounts, including Canon EOS R, click the link in the description below. It'll take you to a page with all of the M42 tilt rocker adapters we offer. And if you're interested in adapting a different kind of lens to your mirrorless camera with the tilt rocker adapter, there's also a link down there that goes to our entire line of tilt rocker tilt shift adapters for all the types of lenses and all the types of cameras we currently offer it for. Again, if you have any questions about this adapter or any adapters, comment below. I'd love to help you out. Plus, click right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more videos just like this one. I'm Sean with Fotodiox.com, and thanks for watching.